sharing counsel. Come on in and help yourself. The Help Yourself experience is a fitness center for enhancing professional and personal life skills. Today's topic is arm yourself with verbal self-defense the right way. This information should not take the place of talking with your doctor or healthcare professional about how to manage and treat stress, anger, or anxiety. Martial arts, self-defense. If you are skilled in martial arts, you know that you are well prepared for physical confrontation. If a mugger tries to attack while going to your car, if you find yourself involved in a fight at a rock concert, or if you spot an injustice, you are prepared to defend yourself with confidence and without question, right? But did you know that not a day goes by that you don't find yourself fighting with other people? Verbally, that is. When your boss verbally attacks you without cause, or when the fight is with your spouse or other family members, although you might want to physically take them down by placing them in a chokehold, we all know that is not such a good idea. Violence is never the answer. Responding to these attacks through physical channels can lead to arrest, loss of job, and immediate endangerment to your life. Today, we will talk about how to arm yourself with verbal self-defense. Here's what we'll cover. We'll discuss how to properly prepare for verbal self-defense and determine how attitude affects your delivery, and demonstrate presentation techniques. You will see several skits today to help illustrate certain points and to draw a parallel with martial arts. We are not in any way promoting violence or diminishing the power of martial arts. The main goal of verbal self-defense is to create a positive language environment around yourself that cannot be penetrated by those that wish to attack you and start an argument. By successfully diffusing attacks without argument, you will quickly find that fewer people try to attack you. They will choose someone else to pick on and leave you alone. You can defend your rights without a fight or argument, showing that you are the bigger person in the situation. It has undoubtedly happened to you. There you are, in the middle of a fierce argument with someone, and suddenly you realize that you not only don't particularly care about the subject of the argument, but you can't understand how you got into the altercation in the first place. According to mydefender.com, there are many advantages to verbal self-defense. The biggest advantage of verbal self-defense is the ability to live a life void of arguments and fights. By becoming familiar with verbal self-defense, you will be able to spot an antagonist trying to start an argument and stop that antagonist in his or her tracks. This creates a much more positive living environment for you and those around you. Studies have shown that people who hear positive speech in their lives live longer than those who are subject to negative speech. Not only do they live longer, but they are also healthier. This is one of the biggest advantages of verbal self-defense. Are there health threats? Yes, indeed. Verbal abuse is toxic. Although it don't leave cuts or bruises, verbal attacks or hostile language is dangerous to your health. People who are chronically verbally abused have increased stress levels. The verbal abuse can cause both physical and mental illness over time. The victim can get sick and injured more often, take longer periods of time to heal, and are more common victims of complications during medical procedures. In addition, according to Discover.com, hostile language flying around the environment is as dangerous to the person using it and to the random bystanders as it is to the person receiving it. When there's nothing at stake, it's best to just stay away from argument. The biggest reason we participate in arguments we really do not care about is because we jump to conclusions without really listening to what the other person is saying. When we jump to conclusions about the other person, we turn off our listening response and arguing begins. Listening involves understanding the motives and reasons behind what the person is saying, not just hearing the words being said. Sometimes, when we stop to truly listen, we find out that we are really under attack. And this is valuable because then we can respond to the attack correctly because we know the nature of the attack. When you know verbal self-defense, you will know how to shut down this unnecessary reaction of arguing so more logical actions can be taken. All it takes to transform your life through verbal self-defense is a thorough understanding of the practice and actually applying it through daily life situations. This training may not pay off in every critical situation, but you will be amazed how many frustrating or dangerous situations in which it does come in useful. According to How Stuff Works, the key here is that you understand what's going on, and that lets you stay detached and rational. The dominant idea about verbal attackers in our culture is that their goal in attacking you verbally is to hurt you, to cause you pain, to do you harm. And that does, of course, fit your amygdala specifications of danger. However, the idea is all wrong. It's a myth. Just like sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will never hurt you is a myth. A quick, unthinking response to a perceived threat may be useful if you're being attacked by a bear, but you need to be able to avoid this impulse when it comes to everyday arguments. Anybody can verbally attack once in a while. When you're overtired, you've had a horrible day, you're coming down with a bad cold, somebody says a few innocuous words at you, and you lose it. You go after them as if they approached you swinging an axe. But chronic verbal attackers, the one that keeps everybody around them in turmoil all the time, the ones that people will flee into a restroom or avoid when they see them coming down the hall, are different. Sure, they could be sadistic psychotics out to savage you, but that's not likely. If they are, there'll be other clues, such as the fact that they are swinging an axe. Almost always, chronic verbal abusers behave the way they do for one or two reasons. 1. A small percentage is simply clueless. They know no other way to communicate with other human beings. All they need is education. And 2, as for the rest, they're desperate for attention, and they know that throwing hostile language at you will get your attention. In both cases, once you understand what's really going on, your reaction to such people will be different. Lots of people think verbal self-defense means fighting back. Their image of verbal self-defense is a collection of killer-smart cracks plus strategies for using language to wipe the floor with their opponents. It's not an accurate image. Verbal self-defense can be easier to learn than you think. Highly effective and a very effective skill to possess. Are you ready to learn more about it? I'm glad. Here's a fact. For every incident of physical violence that goes on in this country today, there are hundreds of incidents of verbal violence. Sane people who aren't criminals don't just walk up to others and start hitting, which means that almost 100% of physical conflict starts out as verbal conflict. First, there's an argument. Second, there are hostile words or hostile body language, such as shrugs and sneers or insulting gestures. Third, Only then, after the hostile language, do people start hitting. And up to that point, up to that moment when physical combat begins, what you need is verbal self-defense. What are the benefits of verbal self-defense? Familiarity with verbal self-defense techniques will allow you to recognize and disarm an abusive situation. The study of verbal self-defense relies heavily on psychological principles and requires some thought, understanding, and practice. It also rests on the concept of determining the true intention or problems of the person you are encountering. If you can figure out what they want and what is motivating their behavior, you can find self-defense strategies that will diffuse the situation without further violence. Yet once it is learned, you will become more confident when it comes to confrontation, whether they are serious or not. There are many different situations in which verbal self-defense can be used effectively. You can use it in everyday situations where you don't want to deal with someone who is upset or behaving irrationally, because it becomes critical when you are in a situation with someone who presents a real danger to you and others. If you know how to defend yourself verbally, you will know how to get out of these situations or talk someone down before things get to the point of real danger. Our focus today is on nonviolent but aggravating situations. There are two goals in